Welcome to the Potato Garden Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan. We have our special Jordan here. You're a good
Hi.
person,
What?
Jordan. We
You too,
have
John.
Troy, the gamer, who's MLG. And then we
Nice.
have a very friendly, benevolent Bear Joel.
Evelyn Barry.
Wow.
Very good intro. Very good intro.
I got a new name now.
So yeah,
the benevolent
Jordan
bear.
was asking me if I have a car. I don't.
I wasn't asking if you had a car.
That's all I
I
heard
was
though,
asking.
because I
He was
was
Oh.
demanding.
I wasn't paying attention, and I just heard car. And I'm like, yeah, I drive my work vehicle around for jobs. Very
No, I was
professional.
giving you an example of why someone might need to go in debt. With the example being they had to buy a new car for work and they maybe couldn't afford it,
Mm,
and so they would have to take a loan. You know. But-
yeah, I just don't like the fact of yeah, I have to pay you money in the future.
Okay, guys, how about we ask the question here? If you had to go into debt to keep your current job, whatever it is, whatever in this hypothetical it is, or decrease your income to save up to get back to where you are now and not go into debt, what would you do?
I don't know.
I'd go into debt.
I don't know. I'm still new to this whole money saving fiasco life stuff. I
Okay,
don't
that's
think
totally fine.
I don't
I
think
have
my,
a ton of experience with debt because I have a car loan. I also have student loans.
Okay,
You
that
know.
is good. Troy,
I have
can we hear
I have
from you,
had no
sir?
trouble paying for these things either.
I mean, I think I'd just try to do the math and be like, expected outcome. Of course, other things can come up, but depending on the percent you can get for your loan, it makes all the difference, right? If you're paying like, I don't know, even 1 or 2% more, that might be working for like 3 or 4 months, depending on the sum.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be smart about it. Like, you don't want to get a loan with interest rates of 20% because that's just stupid.
I hate the word.
You want to get a loan with like super low interest rates. Like my student credit line, the interest I qualified for fancy interest because I'm military, but it's like 4% interest, which is very little,
right.
and it's
Yeah.
the lowest they could possibly give me.
Yeah, I guess I should
So-
probably qualify. When I made that scenario, I was thinking about a situation where you don't have an option. Like, you have to, let's go back to the car thing. You have to fix the car or else you'll lose your job. And in that type of scenario, you're probably going to like one of those payday loan places. So you're not getting a good rate. Like,
Wait, Jordo, you got three? Would you say 3.5%?
3.5 what? 4 something percent. They gave me
Okay.
a special
Yeah,
interest rate
That's real
because
good.
military. Yeah, is a special deal with BMO for military members. So
Yeah.
um,
Because like if you do
but-
prime plus 1 is usually like very good, and that's like 3.5.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
4 is pretty good, especially because like you can't get prime plus 1 unless you're like a special, I guess, person. So like a student
bank
or
employee. Yeah.
I don't know about bank employee. That seems like a little sketchy, but maybe.
Man, all this money stuff goes right off of my head. I'm not prepared for real life at all, and it's overwhelming.
One step at a
Joel-
time, Jonborgva.
that's right.
Joel, to go back to your thing though, with the payday loans thing, if you're going to, this is my personal opinion. I think if you have to go to payday loans, you're maybe in more debt trouble than you realize.
Yeah.
Um,
When I think about the possibility of like keeping my current job now, and for all of the copious amounts of listeners we have, I am a commercial painter. And I need a vehicle to go from site to site. Like, it's just necessary. I don't live in a place where I could bus to all the various jobs I do.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm the primary earner of my household, I would probably take on some debt to continue working. But like Troy said, that's me weighing the checks and balances, because right now my wife only works part-time. And as the primary earner, I have to figure out how much I'm pulling in and how much we'd actually lose.
So what happens
it's
if you-
totally about your situation.
So what happens if you don't pay the debt? Like, where does the
You die. Sent to the gulag, Jonborgva.
sent to the gulag?
you
You're
go to
you're-
Switzerland.
and your dog gets sent to space.
The government owns your soul.
Well, they already do that.
What?
Hot takes. No, they don't. They don't.
No, you can. There's programs for that too, John. Like there's you can do debt consolidation where you put it all into one and it helps you pay it off a little bit easier. There's
Mhm.
debt counseling. There's a lot of programs to help you out.
Which you
like
probably have to
if
pay for.
well, it depends. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. I've never obviously done any of that, but
Imagine being in debt and like you have no money and you're like, okay, I gotta find a counselor to help me with this debt. Oh,
John, being in debt doesn't mean you have
Well,
no money though. Being
they
in
might
debt
work for the
means you
government though.
owe money. So,
yeah, I know
a lot
money.
so like
I know money.
for example, if I
Sorry.
stopped making car payments, the dealer would repossess my car. They're like,
Repo.
"You're not paying for your car. We're going to take your car back because you're not paying for it."
So you
So
don't own your car.
I
Um,
do, but I don't. It's
To be
weird.
they
fair,
have a contract.
Yeah.
yeah, if you have like a large amount of debt, then they can come and take what are called assets, John. So if you own like a nice car and it's yours outright, but you have a lot of debt, then whatever company you owe money to can come up to like the courts and be like, well, hey, this guy owes me a ton of money and he has this asset, so this car, and it's worth this much money. So until he can pay me back, I'm going to like take this car as that payment, or not even until he can pay me back. I'm just going to take this as payment, depending on your plan and how long you've been, in debt to them and missing your payments. So like they can take your assets, not just your actual capital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
a good example is like if you repossess somebody's house, the
Mhm.
bank owns your house. Well, it's because you weren't able to pay the bank. They said, "Hey, you have something that's worth money. Since you have no, I'm going to take that thing that's worth money."
Man, how do
Whereas
you
I
guys
guess
know all
technically
this
you could
stuff?
sell the house. I keep my ears to the ground, John.
Yeah. I also talked to my parents. They've been through a lot more life than I have, and they've been pretty
I mean,
wise with their counsel.
they were telling me about that stuff too, but I don't remember.
Mm.
Like I don't like it goes right over my head, and it just doesn't. It's like throwing I don't know how to say this as a metaphor, but basically, all this useful information just is lost in the abyss of my brain.
That is fair. That sometimes happens. Also, I will be right back.
We need a financial advising anime, John Borg, then it'll get in there.
Yeah.
uh,
what I'm trying to get across to you, Jono, that debt isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I
So,
rather
It's
be.
certainly
That
not.
I rather.
it doesn't mean you have no money. It just means you owe money.
If you're in big debt and you have debt problems, it is very bad.
I rather
Yes.
be in
John
debt.
Borg,
Be in debt to someone like for a favor kind of thing. If that makes sense, then oh yeah, you owe me money. I don't like money.
I heard this was probably 3 months ago on CNN or BNN, Business News Network. It's like I don't know if they actually have good data or whatever, but it was about $70,000 is the average Canadian debt. You might say, "Wow, that's a lot of money."
Yeah, that is.
It's not like credit card debt. It's not. Well, some of it might be credit card debt, but maybe like $4,000 or something. But most of that debt is in like tied up in a house, it's tied up in cars, it's tied up in all that kind of stuff. So when you have a mortgage, this mortgage on a house, we'll say, nice even number, $1 million house. Well, if you don't have $1 million right away to buy the house, which you'd have to save for many, many, many years to do that, you can still own that house. But what you have to do is you have to go to a bank. You say, "Hey, I want to purchase this house. I have $300,000. You have 700,000. I want to buy this house." So you buy the house, take out $700,000 loan from that bank or a mortgage. You slowly pay towards the bank that 700,000. Meanwhile, you're living in that house and you own it. So if you were to look at your debt, you would have $700,000 worth of debt. $700,000 worth of debt is a lot of debt to have, but it at least means that you can live in that house. And then having a house is a really good investment because you can live somewhere and you don't have to pay rent or whatever, right? The price will go up, so it's not necessarily bad. But that's using something that like you use that debt as leverage to get a really good investment out of it, or even just like convenient for life. You don't have to pay rent. You can mow your lawn when you want to mow your lawn or whatever, right?
So what happens if you have to pay your debt and your taxes? See, like, okay, also the housing market goes up, right? The money goes up. It almost seems like it's like a Ponzi scheme or something, where it's like, oh yeah, the house market, we're I have an idea. We're going to increase the house price up, so we at the bank, people are going to ask us to go in debt so we can pay for them while they just, it's something like
Okay,
that.
I will dispel your concerns with this one fact, John Borg. So if you're the bank and you're giving out loans for people to buy houses, if you can't pay that loan, the bank will take your house. Well, the bank then needs to sell your house because the bank does not want your house. As much as you might think the bank wants to own all the houses, they do not. They want money because they're a bank. So the housing price goes up and up and up, and you have to get bigger and bigger loans to, own that house or try to own that house, take a mortgage. And then you can't pay it, and they repossess your house. Well, they have to sell it. You saw this in the States, I think it's 2008, where everybody was taking loans to build houses, and the loans were really big, and nobody could pay them, or well, when everybody wanted their money, it crashed. It's very complicated. But basically, all the house prices went really, really far down because they weren't worth that much because nobody could afford them. And so
Oh,
now the bank they own a bunch of houses because nobody could pay the bank. And they own a bunch of houses, and now the houses aren't worth very much. Well, now the bank's going to lose a lot of money because they can't sell them to anybody.
do you think that's going to happen here? Because like housing is very
I think it
expensive
happens
here.
every like 10 years or something. There's a big crash of some
Possible.
sort.
What-
2012, 2008, I think.
So then what
I
This
don't,
might be
what stops people from lowering the house price? Like I don't understand why it goes
well,
up.
that's like supply demand, and then also you have like location.
Well,
So
yeah, I get the location
so.
pricing. As someone who is working for realtor marketing, location
yeah,
makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is like, let's say it's a small apartment, but like you could have a small apartment with like just one bedroom and one bathroom be way more than like a ranch in the same kind of vicinity. Does that make
um,
any sense?
Well,
I
usually
would
those
say probably not. Like it's probably a downtown Victoria apartment
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like what we're gonna say like 1,200 at least, something like that.
or
Probably
more,
2,000 maybe,
more.
and then you might have the same kind of apartment, say out in Langford. It might be like you might get more rooms, like double the square footage, and it would be the same price. Well, you're paying still for the location, right? You're not
Right.
downtown, so you have to drive to work, that kind of thing. But very rarely would you have like more square footage in the exact same place and it costs like more or less. They're going to be priced very similarly unless there's like a problem with the house or something like that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, can I give you an example from my life?
Sure.
Okay, so I live in an apartment in the middle of Edmonton. I am basically downtown, but on the south side of the river. Edmonton's split in half by a river. I live in a penthouse apartment in a strip of high rises along the river. My apartment should be super friggin' expensive because it's a penthouse. I'm on the 15th floor and I face downtown with gorgeous views of the river valley and the skyline and everything. But my rent is $500 a month.
Dang.
This is the cheapest apartment on my street in a long time. Even in my building,
Why?
it's the cheapest apartment because it needs a lot of repairs.
Oh.
So, but if there, I'm sure other penthouses on my street are probably so together. The four of us, we pay it's $2,000 a month. I'm sure other penthouses are probably Sorry, I accidentally hit mute. I'm sure the other penthouses along my street are probably like twice as much as mine because of the location. Mine is just an old building and it's in a little bit of disrepair, but yeah. But also, Edmonton's cheap to live in compared to Victoria. But even like the bachelor suites in my building start at $850 a month. Here I am living in one room in this giant penthouse. We have 2 balconies, a huge living room. And we each pay $500 a month.
I see.
So
The price should almost always be equated with like either living condition, location, all that kind of stuff comes together in like the month rent. Problem becomes when there's not enough houses and there's too many people. This is when you can get like rent going sky high. If we look at like
Vancouver,
Vancouver,
Victoria,
yeah,
Toronto.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
and then you get like lots and lots of tenants and people who own the property but just tenant it out to a variety of people.
Yeah,
Or
it
you get
certainly makes rent people want to rent out their places.
so then you get people who just have empty homes in Vancouver. And that's why the BC government introduced the empty homes tax a couple of years ago. Because they're like, if your home's sitting empty, that's a home not being lived in a city with the worst housing crisis. One of the worst housing crises in North America.
Crises.
Huh. I didn't know that was a
So that's why
tax.
so they introduced this empty homes tax in certain areas of BC, Vancouver being one, Victoria being another, so that if you're renting out your home, you won't have this tax.
Would that affect Souk?
Oh,
I think
probably BC wide, right? Or is it just Vancouver?
it depends on the city.
Because
That might just be
I've
Vancouver.
been in quite a few empty houses in Souk before. But they would have like a tenant live in it. Is that on like the top floor? Is that count?
I mean, that's probably them at least trying to avoid that extra tax, right? You have at least one tenant living there, so somebody's
Because
there.
like a couple of times have happened where I've been to a place that someone owns, but they live on the mainland.
Yeah, you can have rental properties for sure. People don't have to live in the place they rent.
But man, the things that tenants do to the property, oh,
You're crazy.
it
That's
would
why you have like
def-
rental agreements and damage deposits, because you have to assume that tenants aren't going to necessarily take care of the property, right? But it's a risk you take as a landlord too.
Yep.
yeah.
But
Yeah, you can make a lot of money if you're renting at like a competitive price, but you could also not make so much money if every time you try to change a tenant and you have to pay to like repair all the damages that were caused. But
How
right,
do you repair smell damage?
you
lots
can
of
deep clean the
debris.
walls, deep clean the carpets, right? You have like a vacuum that's got like water in it, and you whatever those couch cleaners are up
Yeah.
and down the
So
walls. Like,
my old place in Edmonton, I lived in a house with some random roommates before I moved into my apartment. And my landlords, they owned like 3 or 4 different houses that they rented out. And we took like pretty good care of the place. And the landlords were like pretty responsive. And we had like a cockroach problem, which was super gross, but they like paid for the cockroach cleaning or exterminating, whatever. And then so I moved out last summer and it's really close to where I live now. And I've walked by the house sometimes and they've like totally renovated the house too.
Huh.
And they like redid the garden and all the outside walls and it actually looks really nice now. So but I think they maybe so they rent out, we just had the upstairs of the house, which was 3 bedrooms, and there's 3 bedrooms downstairs. And they own the house next door to us, which probably had a similar amount of rooms. They have like a couple other houses too. So I'm sure they like make a lot of money. Like they're renting out each bedroom for $600 a month. So
yeah,
they're making like a lot of money.
there's a misconception where like people who own properties are just like raking in money. And while that might be true, it is a good investment. They do have to do work, right? They have to talk to the tenants. They have to make sure everything's like safe and up to stuff, codes and stuff. But they, if you have a good tenant, there's no problems, and you have to like check on them only like once a month or whatever it is, and nothing needs to be replaced. It certainly can be really good investment.
I see. Speaking on the other stuff about tenants, I got some pretty cool pictures I took today when I did some.
Don't dox anybody, John.
I'm not doxing
I'm
anyone.
gonna say, is this gonna be illegal? Are we gonna get
No.
murdered?
That might be doxing. That was just seem like one of a kind.
No, just
What do you mean?
what? No, I'm not.
That's
You can just look at those and
how many
give me
people
your.
got a bat in their house.
Yeah, that's true.
This might be doxing, sir. They
Well-
didn't put their address out there, but
Oh no, I'm not going. See, just give me your opinion on what just posted, and then that's all I'm saying.
all right. There's some bugs, and there's a bat and a beetle, and then more beetles. A spider, probably. Yep.
It's pretty spooky, eh?
And also what
Yeah.
looks like a couple very lovely wooden cabinets.
Display cases. Yes.
Mm.
I see all the books now. Sorry, I just stepped away for a second.
Yeah,
all good.
those spooked me when I was there today,
That is pretty spooky.
and that was in a suite. There was 3 suites in the building.
Maybe they study bugs.
Yeah,
Is that an
Bug scientist?
entomologist? Is that a bug study person?
Maybe
that's
I don't remember.
that's what I thought. But it made me feel uncomfortable because I was like,
Oh, sorry, entomologist.
once I started seeing those, then I just kept like looking over my shoulder, cause like then my anxiety was like, oh, spiders.
They're still alive, John Boy.
That's why they're in the case. That's why they're in the case.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not. They're not
you
decaying.
put a little sign, keep door shut at all times.
And it was
You know
kind
what he
of.
should do? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It
John.
was kind of funny because I took pictures of those and then I sent. So we have this thing called Slack for our work, and we just post stuff in random sometimes. And basically,
You know what you should.
oh, what?
Oh, it's okay. I didn't realize you weren't done. Go ahead.
Basically, someone said, "Oh, one of those looks like a face hugger from Alien," and I was like, "Oh, ew."
The Metroid bugs.
Yeah,
Or the, yep.
but yeah, those are some things you see during the job, which is a pretty cool job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you should do, John, is bring another one of those little pedestals and put like the name of some super rare scorpion and just leave it blank in the case.
Oh no.
True.
Just have that in my room when someone like comes to.
Well, maybe not super rare scorpion, maybe super deadly scorpion.
Yes, better.
And just
Man-killing scorpion. Just
Yeah.
leave it
that
blank.
would be a pretty funny prank, but I think it would waste a lot of time for like the realtor. Like, oh hey realtor, so I have this scorpion. It's gone.
That's a pretty
Scorpion on the
quick
list.
conversation. Not bad. Not bad.
As long as you remove its poison sac, right? It's fine.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That sounds dangerous.
Nah.
But yeah, that's was something interesting that I saw today. So
Nice.
I mean, if this gets me doxxed, then well,
Then it was worth it.
I guess it was.
Okay, good to know.
I probably won't do this again.
Should we talk some E3 here, boys?
Yeah, we'll move on to the topic of E3. So
Oh, wow.
I
E3
actually,
easy.
as a gamer, as an official gamer myself,
An official gamer. Wow. Okay, John.
I have a bit of comeuppance with E3. I just find it. How do I say that? I'm not a big fan of AAA game developers anymore. If that makes any sense.
Sure. I think about what was the game? I think it was Fallout that I bought, and I said no. I don't really think I'll pre-order any other games or buy. I guess have I bought AAA games? I guess from Steam, some games like that, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I when Fallout 76 was coming out, I think I pre-ordered it because I was like, "Oh, this will be so cool! Oh man, it's so gonna be so cool!" And it was very boring.
I think
Wasn't
mine was
Fallout
Fallout
76
4.
the
So
garbage one?
Yeah, it's a multiplayer one.
I mean, I'm gonna argue that Fallout 4 was also garbage, but
Well, I mean, it was fun to play at first, but once you started seeing the flaws, you could not unsee the flaws. Because if you play New Vegas over 4, you'll start to see the flaws of 4 because 4 is very how do I say it? What it's something that video games are doing to um spread to a bigger audience. I forget what it's called. Like they minimalize it.
Minimalism?
it's just not very
Minimalist?
difficult. You mean, or
Yeah, kind of in that like sense where they make it very easy to get into, kind of.
you mean they make it like normie friendly?
Yes, that's one way to
Okay.
put it. Like, yeah, Fallout 4 is definitely really um safe to play for like if you've never played a video game before. I'd say Fallout 4 is pretty safe to play.
So, okay, I've never played Fallout, but I love open world adventure games. And right now, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 are free on Xbox Game Pass.
Play 'em.
And my roommate told me I should download one of them.
New Vegas.
Would you recommend New Vegas over 4?
Yes.
Jordan, I'm gonna ask you one very simple question. How much do you like dogs?
I like dogs. They're
You
cool.
like dogs?
I
Get
I
4.
would get a dog one day, probably.
No, Joel,
Get
don't.
4.
Wait, Jordan, do you like
Mhm.
Jordan, do you like complicated politics?
I love politics.
Get New
What?
Vegas.
Do
Okay.
you like politics within a video game? Would be the real question.
Well,
Sure.
the
I
th-
like politics in any context.
there see the thing about 4 is the dialogue options aren't very there aren't many dialogue options. Basically, there's yes and no, just said differently. So
Mm.
there's the yes or the sarcastically yes. Oh,
Okay, which one has the better story though? I'm a sucker for a video game with an amazing story.
Not Fallout 4, that's for
New
sure.
Vegas.
New
Yeah, New
Vegas.
Vegas.
Okay.
That's
Maybe
one.
I'll download New Vegas then.
It's because like depending on how you build your character too, you'll have different dialogue. So if you have low
Okay.
intelligence, you will say random shit.
Is it turn-based?
No,
RPG kind of?
Turn-based.
Oh, okay.
It's like Skyrim. Think of it like Skyrim, but
with guns.
Oh,
you're
okay.
in post-apocalyptic wasteland.
What are you?
That sounds like something I would absolutely love.
Hopefully,
So,
Oh,
hopefully
Jordan,
it doesn't.
I can explain this for you.
What are you?
Have you played Skyrim?
yes, of course I played Skyrim.
Okay, so think of Fallout New Vegas as Skyrim, and think of Fallout 4 as Skyrim, but if one of the main things that Todd Howard wanted you to do was build your Hearthfire DLC house.
Okay.
That's the major difference.
Yeah, Fallout 4 has this like element of base building, and like
It's not very good.
the meme is it's Preston Harvey or Garvey or whatever, and he says a
There's
settlement needs your help, and it's
another
like
settlement needs your help.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the meme.
and they
Yeah.
try to like push this kind of element of the game that is you defend a settlement
Oh, it's
by
so
like
annoying.
taking it back over, and then like you would then set up defenses so the settlement wouldn't need your help in the future.
But they'll still
Problem
need your
is
help.
it's just like it would be really cool if they had like a mission where well actually there is one. You're in like a big open movie theater outdoor theater thing, and you can set up defenses and then you go have to defend it, which is like kind of cool. But if they could have implemented it a lot more cohesively with like the main story, and instead of feeling grindy and like irrelevant that like you have certain spots on the map that are safe to go around because you built a base there or something. Yeah, it's
And
pretty poorly done though.
it's never ending. There's never ending quests, and they're really annoying. And uh, to get to a certain quest, you have to do a certain amount of never ending quests. then you can retake this place that is like a fort. So
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, you have to save a certain amount of people that need your help, and then you can like progress the main quest.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's right.
Yeah, which isn't a good idea because the whole problem is that like helping the settlements and people is just like it's so repetitive. It's like horde mode, but it's not fun because it's never a challenge and it's
You
kind of disjointed because the enemies spawn in bad spots and they're not coordinated and yeah.
and you'll
Mhm.
be going back and forth looking for certain items that you need to build stuff like adhesive, concrete, wood, basically building materials from random miscellaneous items that you find in the world. So you'll be picking up a lot of stuff. In New Vegas,
It's
you
far
don't.
too grindy.
In New Vegas, you just pick up guns and ammo usually, or you can pick up the misc items to sell. That is your choice.
So the consensus is it sounds like New Vegas is the better game.
I gotta say though, Jordan, to throw my hat in the ring, I have both, and
Yeah.
for my play style, I like the immersion of the base building level in 4. Yes, the story
Mm.
is worse, but the way I play the game, I like to kind of get into my character, and so being able to, you know, care about a settlement and create it the way I wanted to, even with the janky level of crafting, in some ways made it more realistic because it was like I had to weigh up, hey, do I want to improve my settlement and like care about these people more, or do I want to like get the the copious amounts of guns and get a ton of money for myself? And
Mm-hmm.
so that choice was kind of nice. Like that's not in New Vegas, so I'm still saying New Vegas, but I gotta say I enjoyed Fallout 4 partially because of the base building.
Maybe I just have to play both.
Yeah, they're both good in their
Yeah,
own merits.
Yeah,
sort of. Once
I
you
would
finish the
say
main story of Fallout 4, you don't feel
Like you
encouraged
completed
to
anything,
keep playing the game because it's just yeah.
unless you
It's like
have.
Skyrim is really fun because you go, oh, like wow, I well, okay, Oblivion is way better, but we'll talk about that. If you're playing Skyrim, it's like okay, I have like a class and I did this kind of guy and I went through the main story, but there's still this like other half that I could try to do, and they do that in I believe all the Fallout games as well, right? You can be the good guys or the bad guys, or they're kind of more like half good and half bad. Both sides have
Or
their own.
do whatever you want.
Yeah, I
Right.
would say, Jordan, you should probably just like jump into New Vegas, and if you have some time, like start up 4, do some base building. I wouldn't even bother finishing it though. Just like tootle around and explore, find some fun stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, play it on your own time. Don't like rush through it.
Play it on your own time, not on ours. This is podcast time.
Yeah.
Start it up, download a Jordan.
Wait, are you playing it on
Yes.
the Xbox?
Yeah, it's free for Game Pass right now.
So okay. Hopefully it doesn't
Xbox One.
Hopefully New Vegas doesn't crash for you.
Oh, well, whatever.
But yeah,
My Xbox has been going strong for about 6 or 7 years now.
Woot woot.
It still runs
I'm just making fun because
because Windows,
the vanilla of New
or
Vegas.
Microsoft. Oh.
Yeah, the computer program and other, like, it was also released on the PS3, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it would crash a lot. So unless you install mods on the PC, but you can't do that on the console. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, my PC is a MacBook Pro, so that tells you my options there.
Oh no, you're gonna get
So-
called out, boy. No.
That's fine. I like my Mac. It serves me well.
How did we get here from? How did we get to Fallout? Oh
E3.
yeah, I think I was talking
you're
about
like I don't like big game developers, AAA game developers.
right because they make games simple.
Well, okay, they make it marketable, accessible. It's
Yeah.
very easy to digest,
That's
which isn't a bad thing. It gets more people who might not be into the gaming sphere.
yeah. So
They might look
can
at a
sell
game
more
and go, "Oh,
copies.
wow." That's not necessarily a bad thing, Jonborg. The bad thing is if they sell copies and the game is not good. For example, we all know No Man's Sky. They literally lied, and it looked really fun. Turns out it was
I
broken.
guess you didn't watch the internet historian video about that. The guy had social problems and he didn't know how to say no in front of a camera.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I
It
mean,
doesn't change what happened, but it might make him
Hey,
less
it made him,
accountable,
and
which is
and
fine.
they
But
also had like a flooding damage for like half a year or something like that. I can't remember how the video goes. So
yeah,
they had to
you
like
can't get away with
fix a
lying
bunch of
at
stuff.
basically ever, unless you want to go into an insane asylum. But okay.
Well, apparently they brought it pretty good now. I heard.
Yes,
they've
it is
released a
a
ton of
better game
updates, so
for
it's
sure.
a different type of game. Yeah, so it's not the same game that it was when they actually released it. Doesn't mean that lying's okay, but it does mean that it's actually viable as a fun game if you like that sort of
I'm
thing.
not saying Lang's okay. I kind of feel bad for the guy, honestly. Like, it seems like he felt very uncomfortable in the, because he was
Well, he
just
didn't have to do it. He could have got somebody else to talk, but he chose to. That's the problem I have.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Right? There's millions of people that could have gone and talked about a game and read the points that people wanted them to read, right? Instead, he felt the need as a developer, or I think he was a developer,
Yeah, he was
to
one of
go
the
out there
main.
and talk.
Yeah.
But accessible games aren't bad necessarily.
Oh,
You
they're
can look at like a lot of they're not necessarily bad because again, the whole issue is that if you're spending money, you're choosing to spend money.
That's
The only
true.
time it's bad is when you choose to spend money on, let's say, a product and it looks like all the reviews are great, or you watched a demo at E3 and it turns out those are all pre-rendered. So even though it looks amazing, 4K, Ultra HD, whatever, then
Haha,
you go
Cyberpunk.
play your Cyberpunk on your own Xbox or PlayStation, and then it can't run and it's buggy, and then so the expectation that you're making a good purchase isn't actually what reality is, and that's where the disconnect is really bad. But
Yeah.
just having people play your game or buy your game or having a popular game isn't a bad thing. If it's a really really good game and it's popular, that's great. People enjoy it and they think like they're getting a fair deal, right? $60 for most games that are AAA,
Oh, it's
and
going
then
to
it's
70
worth
now.
$60. Well, Canadian, right?
Yeah.
But
Wait, no, it would be $80 Canadian.
Games are like 80.
oh, is it 70 American?
Yeah, it's going to be 70 American soon because of the new consoles. And the reason why is
20.
like they need more money to be developers when they just want to make. I think it has to do with also that the fact they yeah, and you need more money to make a game, but they end up spending most of the money on marketing. And
Well, not all games make money, that's for sure.
yeah, and
But
another thing is that they always want to go with the highest graphics ever when graphics isn't the point. It's the gameplay.
I gotta say as an aside, speaking of gameplay, Jordan, you got me interested in it again. I'm downloading Fallout New Vegas right now.
Oh no. Oh, Joel, I'll have to like show you which patches you should download just so the game doesn't crash for you.
you got the mod
that would
list,
be
John Board?
helpful.
Yeah, I got the must mod list. Like not the stuff that adds to the game, but like the ones that make the game a lot
Stability
more stable. Yeah.
Yep.
And
You
Okay, I'm gonna
what-
need to.
Sorry, what?
Eh?
What you were gonna say, Jordan?
Oh, I said, you know what game my MacBook Pro can run really, really well?
What?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Really?
But it's like
Woo!
20 years old, so
Oh right, the you're talking about not the MMO. I don't know why I thought of the MMO.
No, the old one, not the the MMO. Well, the MMO is kind of old now. It's probably 10 years old now too.
Yeah.
But I played the OG Knights of the Old Republic over Christmas on my computer, and it ran seamlessly on my MacBook Pro.
That's a good game.
Oh, okay. Jordan, you want a game recommendation that I'm sure your computer could probably run?
What's that?
Let me find it here. It's Sid Meier's Pirates.
Sid Meier's? Is that what I just heard?
Sid
That's
Meier?
right, Troy.
Sid Meier, but I
No.
okay,
This is the
unless I've
knockoff.
been Oh,
This is
okay. Never mind. For sure.
No,
Go for it.
Troy, I'm just saving face. That's a total lie. It's Sid Meier's Pirates.
Oh, so okay. I was gonna
But it
say.
it's a beautiful game. It when was it released here? Let me see if I can find this. Let me see. Go to store page. It's how can I describe it? It's a good pirate game from 2005.
Oh yeah.
There's sword fighting elements. There's romance elements. There's
Ooh.
fighting canoes. You can fight canoes. You can sail around and use a canoe as your flagship.
Mm.
It's got everything you could ever want in a
Neat.
game, Jordan.
Yeah. I even
Yeah.
I play Minecraft on my Mac, and I think my computer is gonna overheat when I'm
Ah.
playing. So
Yeah, no,
maybe-
this
Gotta
one,
lower that render distance.
Yeah, maybe that might help.
Okay, here, let's see. Let's see how big this
Should we go back to
this game
E3
is.
again? Because we keep going off topic.
Yes.
Jordan, this game is
sorry.
1.2 gigabytes, so I think you'll be okay. All right, E3.
OMG. Okay. I just emptied my hard drive too, so that's great. I freed up 80 gigabytes of my hard drive.
Neat.
So
Beauty.
The
Yeah.
only game that interested me, I didn't watch any of the shows, but I watched some of the new trailers that have come out. Elden Ring from Software is developing this game, and apparently George R.R. Martin did a bit of the lore writing of the world. So it looks like a From Software's looks like a From Software game. Like it feels like one too. So
Gonna be honest, the only E3 I watched was the Nintendo Direct today because I love Nintendo the most, and I watched the trailer for Starfield because I kept hearing about it in the news, and it looks pretty cool. Even though it was not actual gameplay footage, but
yeah, it looks neat. But I read a comment. Apparently, someone asked Todd if you can climb up ladders, and he did a total trying to avoid the question.
180 on
Yeah,
the topic.
because I don't know how the embryo engine. I think it's the embryo engine. It's the same engine they used for Fallout 4 apparently, which is an old engine, and so they didn't
Well,
have
didn't they say the game is 25 years in the making or something?
what Starfield.
Yeah, that's what they said in the trailer.
Really?
Yeah.
They were talking about Bethesda.
Oh, maybe it was about Bethesda. I thought it said the game was 25 years in the making, and I was like, that's a long time for a game to be in development.
I don't think they.
Because the technology changes so fast too.
Yeah, I don't think a game could.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, maybe it was Bethesda then. I was a little confused at that when it came up on the trailer.
I think the longest game that was in development hell was probably Final Fantasy 15, which was supposed to be Final Fantasy Versus. I heard there was a lot of problems with that game development.
I remember from last year E3 the claim that I believe you're talking about Starfield, which is the Bethesda, right?
Yeah.
Last year they were saying that this game had been in the works for 15 years or something. And as much as it probably is true that they at Bethesda were like, we should make a sci-fi space game kind of thing, I don't think it's 15 years worth of coding or anything, but it's more like we have the lore set for our game, we have the storyline already outlined, we're just waiting for the right time in terms of
that
gap
makes more
between the
sense.
games, the right console generation we want it on. We want everything to be able to process. If we want really big battles, well, we can't do that in 2005, right? So you gotta wait 15 years to pump it out. Or even just yeah, they might have had an idea on Idea Wednesday where everybody writes down an idea for a game or something, and that's when 15 years ago somebody wrote down a game about sci-fi space exploration or whatever. But I don't think it's actually 15 years of coding or anything like that.
Yeah, for all we know, it could have just been a game like you said, a game idea, or just gameplay mechanics, and then they go around that gameplay mechanic and build a story around it.
Yeah, and if we look at other Bethesda games like Skyrim, well, I should say any Elder Scrolls game, right? They have thousands of books, and so like if you wanted to release a sci-fi game with like the truly in-depth like interactable journals and logs, if I'm thinking like Mass Effect, right? Like all of that stuff has to be written. And
And
if you
fleshed
start
out.
writing all of those books, you need to know what the kind of universe looks like, what the races are, or like who the enemies are and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So like if you've read the amount of like material that are in like an Oblivion or a Skyrim, like you will read for like thousands and thousands and thousands of pages because there are so many books and each book is like 15 pages. Somebody had to write those, so maybe they've been writing them for the last 15 years or so.
And don't forget all the dialogue too, as well as. Wait, is there item description? I don't think there
I don't
is
think
in
so.
Sky. No, only for the enchantments, I believe.
Yeah, I would say the dialogue's probably more time consuming in terms of like voice acting and stuff because one book will be like pages and pages, whereas like most quests, I would be surprised if the dialogue was like more than a page.
Ah, yes. Please help me find my sword. It is in this cave. I'll mark it on your map.
I mean,
Dang.
I'm not gonna say that's not what happens, but it's pretty accurate.
It's a good impression of a Fallout 4 quest, I think, actually.
Any side
Help!
quest in any open world game?
There's a settlement in danger. I'll mark it on your map.
I think beyond the main story for like we'll take Skyrim, right? Like you talk to Isburn or whatever, and he'll talk to you for quite a while. He doesn't have infinite dialogue or there's not that many options you can choose to talk to him about. But like if you start reading like the history of Tamriel books or whatever, it's like it is actually like 20 pages and it's so dry, but it's wall to wall text. But yeah, somebody had to sit down and write that. I don't know who got paid to do that, but somebody did.
Well, I mean, there's a
Some
job
of the
for
books,
everyone.
though. Some of the books,
Lusty
though, I was.
Argonian maid.
Well, I can't say what I was going to say now, but I'm going to do it anyways. Some of the books, though, I kept in my inventory because I was so interested in the titles and I wanted to read them, but I never actually got around to reading any book in Skyrim just because I was curious.
Not
I
even the
sometimes
Lusty
was
Argonian
tempted.
maid?
No, I was sometimes tempted to,
I think that
but
was like
I
only
always found
5
something else to do that was
pages.
more fun.
The Lusty Argonian maid is a classic, Joel, and you will read it and you will realize that it comes across as a children's story, but
It's not a children's
there's
story. It's more like 50 Shades of Grey, but Elder
well,
Scrolls.
the thing, this is why it's a very funny book, is because it is a children's book because the things that go on are very simple, but there's a lot of euphemisms for other things that are happening. So the
Well, it
chef will
sounds
be
like
like
you want
cooking with
to.
Ah, yeah,
will be cooking with his really big spoon, and then he'll give his big
No,
spoon to
he
the
had
maid, and it's like what?
he had to put his bread in her oven.
Yeah, stuff like that. And
Ah,
it's like
ah,
on face value, it's a children's story, and beyond that, it's not. But
Like Shrek.
I see.
Wait, did you
Sounds
just
like you
say
want a book report there, Troy.
Jordan? Did you
I
just
played the
say
games. That's a classic book. Still.
Okay, okay.
Jordan? Did you
I
just
think
say but Shrek?
I said it's like Shrek.
Oh,
it's
It's
like Shrek.
perceived as a children's story, but when you watch it again as an adult, you're like, oh my goodness, all the adult jokes I understand are so funny.
Oh, so you're saying that the Lusty Argonian Maid is as enjoyable as a DreamWorks production from
Exactly.
I mean,
what
I'd
is
put
it,
them
early
on the same
2000s?
level as Ogre
Okay.
is Love and Ogre is Life.
what what about
You-
the Adventures of
It has layers.
what was it called?
It's an onion. Skyrim has onions. Oh,
Did
guys,
you
we just
guys
blown
ever
this wide open.
did you ever watch the Adventures of Toaster or something like that?
Oh, is that a Disney movie?
It was published by Disney. It wasn't directed by
Yeah.
Disney, but it's like that where the appliances are all like go on an adventure and stuff. Did anyone watch that movie?
I know what you're
know what
talking about. Never seen it though.
No.
I watched it so many times, and apparently, like, it's really dark. Like, the amount of times that character suicide and die is it's wow. That's a child's movie apparently. But
Sad.
yeah, sad is indeed. So Jordan, what was the games that you're looking forward? Nintendo.
Yes. So I watched the Nintendo Direct this morning, which was 40 minutes of live stream. I was mostly hoping. So I love the Zelda games. They're maybe my favorite games of all time. So I was really hoping for some big Zelda news, and we got some big Zelda news, which was cool.
Breath
All the
of-
other stuff in the Nintendo Direct I didn't care about, and they put Zelda at the very, very end, so I had to sit through 40 minutes of stuff I didn't really care about.
Oh,
Well, I guess like 35
what did you
minutes.
think of Shin Megami Tensei 5?
I've
What was that?
I've never played it before. I don't even know really what I saw the trailer for it, but I was like,
It's just weeb things, Joel.
Dem
Okay.
picture Pokemon, but instead you fight with demons. And then these
the
demons
only
and sorry, I'm just gonna say the demons are like different gods from different religions. Like Thor is a demon. Odin's a demon. Even like Pixie's a demon apparently, which is also so like anything from like mythology or folklore stuff from like different countries and stuff. And so that's what I thought was neat.
like it looks
There you go.
interesting, but it's maybe I'm not full weeb. It's maybe a little too weeby for me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not full weeb yet. I don't know if I'll ever get there. The only
Don't
other
go
game that was
I'll make sure you don't
weeb.
get there. I'll make sure you
You-
don't get there.
Thanks, Troy. Appreciate it.
I don't think actually.
I won't let my friend go down to the
I
dark
think-
depths of
I
being a
think
weeb.
if I remember, I think you would be better chance of playing Shin Megami Tensei than Persona. Persona's more full weeb than
Okay,
Shin Megami.
I have stories about my roommate. Well, he doesn't live with me anymore. He just moved out in April, but he had over like close to 3,000 hours in Persona 5.
Oh
That's
jeez.
like it was
Dang.
like his part-time job was playing Persona 5.
You can only play
So-
it so much though. I've played it through like I guess 5 times.
Yeah,
Have you
he's
ever
probably
watched an
played it
anime twice?
for more than that.
Have I ever watched anime twice?
The same anime twice.
A little bit with One Piece because I was watching it with my sister.
Ooh, we got okay. Then maybe
I was
excuse.
watching it with my sister only up to a certain point, and then yeah.
Some people watch
Anyways.
movies over and over and over again.
I
I don't
can't.
get it, but some people do.
I
I
can't.
can't do it either. I think they're actual psychopaths, but some
Oh,
people
Troy,
watch
you
the same
cannot-
movie year in, year out.
You cannot say that watching The Lord of the Rings like once a year
Joel,
is a
I
horrible
haven't
waste
even
of time.
watched it once.
Ooh,
I could not sit through it.
Dude, Troy.
That's sad.
I've
That-
only
that
watched.
makes me sad.
And it's not sad. I choose to do what makes me happy in terms of like watching a movie or a show, and I couldn't get invested in the universe or the lore or the characters. They would make like things that seem epic, and I'm just like, nah, they don't. Yeah.
Troy.
No, you misunderstand me, sir. I am sad that you will never know the joy that Lord of the Rings brings me.
Joel.
So I wish
Oh.
you could experience it as I experienced it.
Joel.
It would be
Yes.
nice.
I've only watched Fellowship of the Ring with director's
I mean-
cut, and that's the only one I watched. And then I also watched the Hobbit movies, but that's another issue in itself. I prefer.
I don't know. I think hot take on the Hobbit movies. As movies, they're good. In the same way that as Captain Marvel is a Marvel, like just a general movie, it's like it's good. It's action. As a Marvel movie in the canon, maybe not. Same for the Hobbit. In like the Lord of the Rings canon, maybe not. But I enjoyed it as a movie.
I'll tell you a story about the Hobbit. It's quite a
Oh,
good
no.
story. I might have told you guys this before. I have a friend from Zimbabwe. He came to BC and he was doing school on the island, and so I was hanging out with him. And one day we went to watch the second Hobbit movie. And
Mhm.
spoiler alert, but during the second Hobbit movie, the main character, I think is the main protagonist, he dies and he gets stabbed with a sword. But This movie's in 3D. And my friends from Zimbabwe had never seen a movie, let alone in a theater or a 3D movie. And so when the sword comes through the main character and comes out the other side and he dies, everybody in the theater is dead silent. It's like, oh shoot, this is the big moment. My friends from Zimbabwe thought it was so cool that they could see the sword coming out of him in 3D. They start laughing. And so we're sitting there, the theater's dead silent. My friends are laughing. I know not to laugh. And they are just slapping their knee. They're like talking to the other guys. Did you see that? That was so cool. And everybody is just staring at us. And I was like, oh no.
Was that
I don't know
was
how to even
that
begin to explain.
Thorin Oakenshield who gets stabbed?
Is a good question. I don't remember quite well enough. I would say is a
Was he a
beard.
dwarf?
It's
That's
red.
Hmm?
Beard, red hair. That's my guess.
Because the main character of The Hobbit is Bilbo Baggins.
Find it for you. Hobbit movie 2.
Because I think, if I remember correctly, Thorin Oakenshield's one of the main cast that does die at the end of
Do you like the Dwarf King or whatever?
Yeah.
That
Oh,
Yeah.
treacherous old
Yeah,
bat
he's
from the
kind of,
dragon.
well, maybe it's not reddish hair, but yeah, I believe he does die. Does he not get stabbed? Pretty sure he gets stabbed.
I don't remember.
One character, he's like on a glacier, and then like he gets a sword run through him. If I remember correctly, this is a long time ago. How long
oh,
ago?
spoilers, my guy.
I
That's
don't know why they made
that's
it
pivotal
into.
right there.
I already gave the
Oh.
spoiler alert. They weren't listening. That's their fault.
I know. You gotta just lay
I'm
it down
gonna
there
have
for
to
those
edit
major ones.
that peak, Troy.
2013. They've had what 8 years, almost 9 years to watch this. And it ain't
I
on
feel like we're
PG.
beyond spoiler alerts now.
True.
Thanos dies.
By Ant-Man up the butt.
Best theory ever.
It's,
Darth Vader dies. Let's see. Who else dies?
Jonborg, this is when like you might be joking. However, anybody listening is gonna press mute because the threat of spoilers is very real.
Eren Yeager dies.
That's Attack on Titan, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't like
E3 though. If we want to go back to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Why
got a
not?
question. I need somebody to tell me what happened with Halo Infinite because I couldn't be bothered to watch E3 because I don't
Oh.
like mass
I heard
productions. I'd rather just watch what.
something. I think they did a multiplayer
Trailer?
show off of
Yeah,
Halo
it did.
Infinite.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about
It's
it, and I heard it
coming-
maybe wasn't the worst thing in the world.
It's coming out in holiday season.
Coming out this fall, yeah.
Yeah, from what I
I-
heard from some of the responses I read, it apparently redeemed it slightly from the kind of sad response it got from their first gameplay reveal. It seems like it's more a return to like the classic Halo experience of multiplayer that's like shooter focused and not as gimmicky.
Power
I heard there was new gimmicks like grappling hook.
I said not
One called
as
a
gimmicky, but you still gotta
grappling
sneak
hook
them in there.
gimmick?
Dude, I would play
This
a
is
game
cool,
with
Jumper.
a grappling hook mechanic.
Grappling
Titanfall
hook's just cool.
Titanfall 2 had a grappling hook mechanic. That was always fun to slingshot yourself across the map.
Yep, that's like
Ezio.
Robo Man in Apex Legends. Same thing.
Well, no,
Ezio,
I
where is
think-
your hook blade?
but Troy, he just zip lines. I'm talking about where you actually like get momentum.
No, he can. His not his ultimate ability is a grapple. He has both a big zip line and then he has a grappling hook. He's a speedster.
I see. What was? Oh yeah. I might be playing not pirates. Sea of Thieves with Oscar. You remember Oscar
Very
who came
nice.
on the podcast?
I do.
Uh,
Very cool guy.
Yeah. Because there was a new stuff for Sea of Thieves, and Captain Jack Sparrow's in it.
Wow. We
And
got the guy from Fast and Furious in Ark. Now we got Johnny Depp and
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah,
Nice. We're getting all the cameos.
Pardon, Jordan?
Oh, John Wick is in
Fortnite.
Cyberpunk. Well, I guess also Fortnite too. But wait, sorry.
You said John Wick. You mean
So who's in-
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. Okay, but you know what I meant.
Hey,
Every-
is
like,
Sea of Thieves-
Is he really Keanu Reeves or is he John Wick? We don't know.
What were you gonna say, Jordan?
is Sea of Thieves like really good? It's also free on Game Pass right now too.
The last time I played it, it was really boring because all I did was bucket out water and putting planks inside the boat. So it's
Oh.
probably still the same like that, but like they added new stuff and
I've heard it's very fun with friends on
Yeah.
your own, unplayable.
just get into the role of a pirate, and that's how it gets fun.
So if you got a squad, you could probably play it and have fun. But if not,
Right.
maybe avoid.
Yeah.
Just like very common with most games actually, and we talked a little bit about that with Oscar. Just like, yeah, you need friends to make most games fun. So
A good example of a game would be Fallout 76. Play that with friends and just role play your way to victory.
that's actually a big benefit of the Game Pass, as much as like
You can try
Xbox
games.
is pushing it, PlayStation is pushing it. Well, not only you can try games, but when you play, like, if I have Game Pass, Jordan has Game Pass, Joel has Game Pass, you have Game Pass. Well, now we can just go play a game, four of us, at no expense, but it will be fun because all four of us are playing. Whereas
Okay.
normally it's like the conversation is, you should try this new game. Okay, how much does it cost, right? And then if the game, one person finds it fun, but nobody else finds it fun, well, now you've all spent money and it doesn't feel great.
I
Whereas,
see.
yeah, I kind of don't like Game Pass because it seems to be like they control what kind of content they put on it. But the upside is, yeah, just having this access to playing with my friends any game I want to play that's on there.
Well,
You're kind of bound to have more fun.
I'm not a big fan of subscriptions yet. I'm gonna probably have a subscription in the future again because I'm talking about Final Fantasy 14, which is an MMO. I'll probably be playing that in November. So if you don't hear me from me in November,
We know where you've gone.
but like, and the thing
Change your
is,
status.
I don't like things about subscription because you pay it every month, and I don't want to be. Oh, I make sure to do the one where I have to manually put it in so it doesn't automatically charge me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no auto renew.
Yeah, I don't like auto renew because I have a feeling I'll end up forgetting about it.
That's how
Yeah.
they get you. They're like 7-day free trial at like literally every company ever.
Just put your
Audible,
credit card in here and
Premium, Spotify Premium, YouTube Premium, Netflix, everything.
Yes. So
Even like Amazon or whatever.
Samsung gave me YouTube Premium for free for 4 months, but I had to put my credit card in, which is how they get you. So it expires at the end of September, I guess.
you should probably
But I'm likely to forget to cancel it.
you probably
I'm
can
gonna say
cancel it now.
probably the highest value subscription. I know it sounds odd, but mainly because mobile devices don't really have good ad block. Like, you have to do a lot of stuff to get ad block, and even then, it's not
Yeah.
really that successful. But like, how many times do you watch YouTube videos on your phone? Well, a lot. Whereas like
Well, I try
every
not
other,
to because of ads.
well, yes, exactly, and like then just being able to like
Oh, speaking
have
about
access
ads,
to like 8 trillion videos on your phone. Whereas like Netflix, yeah, you got some cool movies, but you can't watch a documentary on bugs ad free on your phone. Even, well, maybe there is a documentary on bugs on Netflix, but you know what I mean. It's just like so wide of a net YouTube that you can almost
Right.
always find something to watch.
Speaking
Right.
about ads, there was like a recent new YouTube's term service. So since like I'm pretty active on my channel, YouTube channel, apparently they're gonna be adding it, which is adding things to if you're not partnered with YouTube. So like I don't make money off my channel, they're still gonna put ads on my videos,
Right.
even
Yeah, I
though
saw that
Oh
too.
dang, John.
what.
I thought you were gonna segue into being like, this week's podcast is sponsored by
Spon-
Skillshare.
No,
Sponsored
I
by,
wish. I wish. But since we live in Canada, I can't make money off of Anchor. So, which I'm using to upload my podcast to things. But they
Oh.
do plan to try and get it into Canada to make money, but you know, like it's still developing and whatnot. I don't know. It's just a free service I use to upload my podcast to Anchor, and then Anchor uploads it to Spotify, iTunes, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
centralized kind of like, let's say agency, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the HTML or something, whatever. I don't. There's like a code that you had to copy, that I had to copy, and then send it to each of those. And now since I did send it to those, they automatically get updated when I update Anchor.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't really worry about the
ad thing.
right now, because yeah, I feel
But
like most of the way, even if you were to get like super super large, most of it is like sponsorships and stuff like that. Believe, don't quote me on this. Somebody can do the research. Raid Shadow Legends pays about $20 per person that signs up if the creator meets the threshold, which is why so many people are sponsored by it, is because it's just like it's very lucrative. These kind of mobile games where you pay a bunch of money to play and you never get anything good out of playing the game.
I rather be sponsored by Fate Grand Order because it actually interests me.
True, you could always be ethical, John.
It's basically Raid Shadow Legends except anime. So I mean, and history servants. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So basically, to go back to that point where I was saying that ads will roll on my channel, I think that's kind of scummy. Like, what if I don't want ads on my channel?
Well, you are signed up for the YouTube platform, right?
Yeah,
They
I
own
guess
it.
You
that's
agree
true.
to
It's their
their
property.
terms, so
No.
Now, if
yeah.
they
You
did it
could,
overnight, where they changed it without telling you, that would be a problem. But
Yeah,
if
I
they
guess
said, like,
that's
in a
true.
year we plan to roll this out, you could go somewhere else. You could upload your video to Twitter.
Well,
What
Twitter
is it?
only has a certain amount of.
Instagram.
Twitter has a certain limit to videos, so.
Right, and this is because it all eventually would cost bandwidth somewhere down the line. So
Yeah.
YouTube wants to remain profitable. How they do that is running an ad on a channel that is smaller and doesn't
That's
have their partnership yet.
that's why there's like things now. You know, like how you sub to Twitch, to a Twitch channel. You can sub to
Sure.
your YouTube channel now.
Super subs
Yeah, super subs, and you don't watch
or whatever it is.
ads
Yeah.
on their channel. But I mean, if you're what's it called? Uh, you're paying the creator, then that's a good thing. But like, most of the money
It's
goes
true,
to
but
YouTube.
the companies are trying to get their finger in the pie because they want you to use their product. Twitch subscription, so Amazon gets half, right? So is it better to just donate with PayPal to your favorite streamer? Yeah, because
Through
PayPal takes what,
Streamlabs.
PayPal take 2 or 5%, something like that. It's very little. Whereas like Amazon is taking 50%, right? 250 from every $5 subscription goes to
Right.
Amazon. So um,
Donate to
I
your
can get cool
streamers.
emotes. Get to go into like sub mode and some other perks and stuff. But it's
Discord access.
It's my OnlyFans Snapchat.
You subscribe to my
Troy.
OnlyFans.
My private hot tub streams.
My private hot tub.
Private hot.
Private-
Your philosophical private hot tub streams.
I'm not only in a bikini looking very nice, but I'm also talking about the real things that matter in life.
Why are we here? Why are we still
What?
here just to suffer?
Boy.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that is the life of the internet. You just have to adapt to change, as well as companies coming in and buying everything.
Yeah, they want to make their money, that's for sure.
But yeah, I'll hope to get. I mean, that's why I'm streaming on Twitch, also just to experiment and just see where it goes.
Hmm. Yeah, what are you streaming
First.
these days, John?
Risk of Rain 2. I do plan to stream Disco Elysium when I beat it.
Oh, nice. So you'll
When
do like
you
a second
beat it?
playthrough?
When I beat
Not
it,
doing a dry run, Jonborg?
no, because I want to enjoy the story myself.
Who's
Ah,
saying
so
you
you're gonna
can't
be
do that on stream?
you're gonna be playing tour guide through Disco Elysium for everybody.
No, I'm gonna have it so Twitch chat can choose what to say, because
Ah.
there's an option in the game that is like Twitch integration or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't think I have enough people in my chat room for that.
We could always just take turns, guys. One of us could be online when John's streaming at all times, and we could just like chart the course of his character.
Roll him? Yep.
Yeah,
I'm dead.
I'd be okay with that.
that's right.
I also play BattleTech, which is the mech game that's like XCOM. Yeah.
You played XCOM, Joel? No,
Um,
XCOM?
I have actually recently been back into what is it here? XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Yeah, it's like that.
Oh,
It's
so
like
you're XCOM expert.
Yeah, I've finished Enemy Unknown once, and I got into XCOM 2 for a bit, but it didn't do exactly what XCOM Enemy Unknown did for me, so I never finished it.
it's
But
clunky, isn't it?
you know what? I think I liked the incentive of XCOM Enemy Unknown a little bit better than XCOM 2. Like just the amount of power I had in the encounters to kill aliens in XCOM 2 didn't make me feel like a guerrilla fighter. But in Enemy Unknown, I felt like what I was. Like I was going up against some aliens and trying to figure out their tech. Like it was just a better story. And I'm a sucker for a good story, even in a strategy game.
Yeah, I highly recommend BattleTech if it's ever on sale. It's like
I'm searching
XCOM.
it up.
It's like XCOM but with mechs, and there is a pretty good story, and also you basically have to manage your financial stuff. So you can see why I don't like being in the red, because if you're in the red, you game over basically, man.
Mhm. Although better red than dead.
No, better dead than red.
Oh,
What?
come on. You guys, do you know that reference? Please tell me you know that reference.
Is it? It seems like a commie kind of thing to say.
No, it's a game built by Volition Games. It's pretty old.
Command and Conquer.
No, it's got really good destruction physics
Oh,
in it
Red
for its
Faction.
time. Yes, Red Faction Guerrilla, one of my all-time favorite games.
I've never played it.
It is beautiful, John. If you want to stream something, stream that. Beautiful.
I think another thing would be pretty cool to stream would be AI Dungeon, which we were experimenting in the last episode of the podcast.
Yep, would be fun.
Just basically anything, really. If a viewer wants me to play a different game, I'll play it, and I'm totally down to backseat game.
Backseat Gamers Pug. Now, I heard Joel say he likes strategy games with story. Now, I happen to be somewhat of a strategy game connoisseur, and I would say if you haven't played StarCraft,
I knew
both
it.
a strategy game and has a good story. Highly recommend it.
Okay. Okay.
Did you see
And like
that coming?
it is branded as like a competitive game, and that is basically only the multiplayer.
But there's a lot of
Well,
stuff you can do in the multiplayer with fun. Like we were dicking around with mods and stuff.
there's there's like a co-op mode, and there's other stuff you can get some story out of it, but the campaigns of the game are very well done.
Mm-hmm.
However, when most people think StarCraft, they think sweaty Korean pro gamer who beats people with his feet
Is
and
Jordan
goes on to
still
be the
here?
best player in the world.
Is Jordan dead?
Here.
Oh, okay. You
Sorry,
just-
I'm just
Right.
getting a little. It's 11 o'clock for me, and I have to be up
Alright.
at 8:30 in the morning for an
Well, I'm
interview,
gonna
so I might
end
have to
this
peace out
at
soon. But
we're
2 minutes, quick, go.
Whoa. It's not 10 o'clock yet, so we got like a few.
what are you talking about? It's 10:59.
You're an hour
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm gonna make that joke
9:59.
every time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a running joke. Those are good to have in a podcast.
It's a meme. There we
Yeah.
go.
Don't be sorry.
We have 30 views, which is pretty cool. Though it's kind of funny how there's two episodes with over 10 views, and then 2 episodes that are like only 3 views.
All right, guys. I got a question to round out this whole conversation here. You guys know Biomutant, that game?
The
Sure,
one
sure.
Cam was
I saw
playing?
Can played it. Yep.
Yeah. Jordan, do you know it?
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
Do you know the main character that you kind of design? You look like a little raccoon thing.
All right, that's it. We're done the podcast.
Sure, the raccoon thing.
If you could change that little raccoon-looking animal to be any other kind of animal to tromp around the world of Biomutant,
Giraffe.
wielding crazy random weapons, what would it be? Giraffe.
Giraffe. Yep.
No
The
explanations. Just go.
bipedal giraffe. by the way.
Lizard, crocodile,
lizard.
abomination.
Jordan.
It's a hard question, man.
A bird.
A
Come on, Jordan. Choose an animal.
graceful gazelle.
A graceful gazelle.
Graceful gazelle. I would choose the platypus because I could kill everything.
A bipedal giraffe will beat your platypus. Easy.
Yeah, you have to find me first, and you have to sleep sometime.
All right, I will
I can
be.
see you because I got an aerial view of it.
I will be a lizard, and I will eat you all. Yes, I am the lizard. Goodbye, podcast. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Say your line. The line, Jonborgva.
Thank you all for listening. If you're even listening to this
Nice.
potato podcast, have a swell evening, and thank you.